enemies are still going to be attacking me. My CPU allies are still going to attack. So I have to be actively doing something in order for my character to actually do something, and no one's going to be waiting for me. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next stage. It's a little bit harder to show combat in this game here because I can't stop it, but don't worry, it's all going to come together. Go ahead and go to the next stage. Shout out to the game for not having any weird, arbitrary 3 rows requirements. So far, it's been very, very straightforward. Beat it, don't die, use your weapon skills, which you're probably going to do anyway. But here you go once again. Boo, normal folks won't do. I need someone to swallow me whole like that big bad puppy. And she's obviously talking about the big bad wolf, and that's the story there. As far as combat is concerned, the game does have an elemental weakness system. So red, blue, and green, pretty much exactly what you've seen before. It also works on kind of a weapon switching system here as well. So different weapons here have different effects when you switch in with them, whether they're attacks, defense up, attack down, magic up, etc., heals of that nature. And basically what you're trying to do, you're kind of doing this song of dance of trying to use the right effects to help boost your party while simultaneously trying to keep the right element type engaged on the enemy, that way you're doing the most amount of damage. Now, just like a lot of these games, and there's also a summon feature here as well that actually has a charge up time, believe it or not. So it's going to take me like 15 seconds to charge that up. Enemy's not going to be alive for that, but it's not anything too special. So there you go. But like I said, for a lot of these hero collectors, and we've talked about this many times in many videos before, you start off quite powerful based on all of the pre-registration rewards and just the overall power that the game gives you, that you don't really have to do anything on manual play right now. That's probably going to change when it comes to Coliseum PvP, because that is live PvP. So that's probably going to be where your manual gameplay comes from. So far in the story, just so far, I have not used manual gameplay, and I haven't even been close to dying thus far. But as you guys can see, there are multiple chapters that follow Alice, Snow White, Cinderella, Gretel, Sleeping Beauty, Red Riding Hood, Princess Kaguya, and Pinocchio. And if you use those specific characters in their story segments, you actually get boosted stats for doing so. And you can kind of see that some of these stories start to combine as well. So maybe once you kind of get introduced to all the characters and their stories kind of combine, and you're here in chapter 5, maybe the story gets a little bit better. There's also a hard difficulty, and there's also multiple acts as well. So once you defeat the act of impulse, you move on to this one here, and then of course there is a coming soon act as well. So that's the story. Like I said, very early on, I'm not impressed by the story at all. If we move over here to events, this is going to be your tried and true daily resource grinds. These are going to be different types of materials that are going to be required to evolve your weapons, which I'll show you a little bit later in the video. Key events, there's nothing here yet, but I assume that when the Nier collaboration comes, we're going to see some key events in this screen over here. And then last but not least, we have co-op. And like I was saying before, at any time, if I just want to go ahead and just jump into somebody's match, I'm already here, baby. FG's all up in your party, just like that. So I like that much better than the way that Bandai, like NXB and things of that nature, Digimon or Rise, those games where you have to like constantly spam rooms and hope that the room's not full and hope that you get in. You just boom, I'm in. What up, y'all? How you doing? So I do like that aspect of co-op, and it'll be very cool to kind of see how this corresponds to the events that come a little bit later. If the events are a little bit harder, you know, how does that work with co-op? I'm very curious to see what that's all about. And I know a lot of people are like, you know what? I'm gonna at least see the game through to the Nier collaboration, and I feel kind of the same way. I'm definitely gonna be playing at least for the next couple of weeks to see how the game shapes up, see if the story gets better, and see how the event cycle kind of goes through. But that's the game, ladies and gentlemen. That's all you have. Main story, daily resource grinds, events that are coming soon, and then co-op, which allows you to play the same exact gameplay modes that I just mentioned. And that's pretty much it. You can join random, you can join your friends, or you can join your guild members. So if we go back over here to the home screen, you can join a guild pretty early on in the game. It's only a max of 15 people. And like I said, this is going to be kind of the bread and butter of the game with the Coliseum live PvP. More to come on that. I definitely want to take my time and kind of learn what that system is all about before I make a video on Coliseum. But make sure you get into a guild as fast as possible, because the rookie awards will stop you dead in your tracks until you actually fight in the Coliseum. So definitely do that. Once you complete your rookie's path, you're going to get yourself a nice version of I think it's Snow White, maybe. Don't quote me on that. Don't fact check it. So there you go. If we go over here to the setup screen, I'll kind of show you what this is all about. At the very beginning, obviously, you can pick whichever class that you want to go for. So like I said earlier, certain story segments are going to give you a boost based on which character that you bring, but you can always just bring whatever character that you want. But do be mindful, eventually you're going to hit a 3-star requirement that's going to ask you to use the specific character for that story. So you might as well do it. So that is that. When it comes to weapons, all characters have usable weapons and a specialty weapon. So obviously you want to kind of equip them with the highest specialty weapon rarity that you have. The game has a pretty nice quality of life where you can just hit strongest, it'll automatically equip you. Or if you're doing like a daily resource grind stage that's all win, you can just hit fire and then that'll equip you that way as well. If we move over here to armor, the same exact setup here with recommendations. And then you also have your summons, same exact setup there. Now, obviously, since this character can only use these weapons and specializes in this weapon, there's going to be a lot of other gear that's going to go unused. However, there is a sub-weapon system and a sub-armor and a sub-nightmare system as well. So those pieces of gear that you've leveled up for other characters don't go to waste. They do provide passive bonuses for your character, even though they can't actually actively use those weapons. So lots of slots for that, as you guys can see there. If we move over here to upgrades, very straightforward. You've definitely seen systems like this before. When it comes to upgrading gear, you use spotter materials. Once again, nice little quality of life here that allows you to just grab some basic resources, max out your piece of armor. Once you have maxed out your armor, you can then limit break that gear by using duplicates. That's where a lot of your power is going to come from. I know a lot of people have been giving the recommendation for when it comes to re-rolling in this game, trying to get 2 pieces of the same SR gear, and that's the reason why. Being able to max it out to 60 and then limit break it is going to give you your best